Hi, I'm Kaitlin.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Natalie. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. On today's episode, we talk about Kaitlin's recent trip to Walt Disney World, the food, the attractions, and what she would do differently next time. So, lace up your shoes and step into the magic with us.
Started recording. Oh, God.
You told me I'm supposed to start so we can catch the funny bits. But I wasn't going to record you in Austin. I wasn't going to do that to you.
That's so
He has
funny.
to fill out the waiver first.
God.
We need our own waiver for the pod. People,
God.
you know, you got to sign a waiver to be in a race. You got to sign a waiver to be on the pod.
Oh, I know. He would never fill it out, too. He'd be like, oh, looks like I can't be on your podcast.
We'll give you a chance to drink some tea while we go over some of our
for real.
upcoming dates.
I've just been like chugging my green tea for days.
All right, so upcoming days, we've got 37 days until Disneyland Half Marathon, Halloween half, just to be clear, because I messed that up. 93 days until Wine and Dine, 162 days until Marathon Weekend, 184 days until Disneyland Half Marathon, not the Halloween one. And Proof of Time is due on August 1st, so that's coming up quick. That's tomorrow.
2 days from now, if you're listening on the day that this app
2 days from now
drops.
on pod drop. And then we've got 205 days until Princess Weekend. So if you're listening to this during registration on drop day, we're here for you. We're in the arena together. You can do this. And we hope this brings you a little bit of peace during this time.
Pure chaos.
And then pure chaos. Proof of Time for Princess will be due on September 1st. So you've got about a month to get a race done if you don't already have one for that. And then Springtime Surprise, we've got 247 days until that, with registration 4 weeks from today. So also like 1 month until that. And Proof of Time deadline, we still don't know. Club Run Disney Silver window has opened for renewals, and general registration begins on August 1st. So again, 2 days, if there is any availability, that is the chance for people to register for Club Run Disney. Do we think that covered it?
Thanks.
Any other dates anyone knows about?
Not at the moment. I'm sure something will come up, but a certain amount of date till D23. That's I think the August 9th through 11th, which sometimes we get.
We'll be at the beach.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Sometimes we get some sort of Disney news out of that. So that'll be exciting to see. I remember 2 years ago, that was when it dropped that Disneyland races were coming back during D23. So usually it's more parks focused, but every so often we get something that's Run Disney related out of it. Bring back Marvel races.
And Star Wars races.
I think the West Coast is getting Star Wars first, which I'm not wrong about considering the themes for Disneyland half.
All right, we just finished up week 4 of training, and today starts week 5. Do you guys have any highs, lows from this week you want to talk about?
The temperature?
The temperatures were high.
Which made it a low.
There were no lows.
Right.
Personally, I have now passed 51 miles of marathon training. So that's cool. Always gratifying to plug it into the spreadsheet. And
you're like 1/10 of the way there.
Yeah, I was starting to do that math. And then the math made me sad. So I chose to not do the math anymore until it makes me a little happier.
I'm so proud of you. 50 miles is a great accomplishment.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a little heavy for the for the month. Well, not really. I mean, not really. It's just looking at my stats. I remember last year I did kind of like a junkie run where, I could have phrased that better, but I did my run like a day early because July 31st was on a Monday. So I did my Tuesday run on Monday just so I could hit the 50 mark. I try not to do that so much because I like runs having a purpose. And I remember like it wasn't great. It was like pouring rain outside. I'm like, why are you doing this? But I mean, I did it.
We live, we learn.
Yeah, we live, we learn. We sometimes don't do that again. But yeah, it's exciting. It's crazy that ticked by so fast. But on to week 5. Giddy up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt really proud of myself because I was running at Disney, and especially on that Thursday morning, we stayed at Pop Century, which is honestly like one of my favorite resorts, and I went running that Thursday morning around Hourglass Lake, and there were so many people out running that morning with Run Disney shirts on.
Oh,
There was a dude with I know, there was a guy with a Dopey shirt on. So I was like, whoa, I feel so cool. I'm out here running with somebody who's getting ready for Dopey. I was very proud of myself, and I did 3 solid miles of running around Hourglass Lake. And I felt really cool and accomplished. I tried to go running on Wednesday morning, and I brought the 10-year-old with me because, first of all, I'm paranoid. Like, lifeguarding has given me this sense of no chill in life. And she was like, why do I have to go running with you? And I was like, well, first of all, you used to run cross country, so you like this. Second of all, I was like, what if, knock on wood, I'm out running and you are just chilling in the hotel room, and then like you choke on something, and then your sister is sitting there sleeping and you can't wake her up, and then like you choke on something and I'm not there to help you. So obviously I was like, I do not want you out of my sight, and you are coming with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just wanted to walk and complain the whole time, but it was fine.
But you did it.
And so she watched me go run a whole lap around, and I tried to get her to like race me, and I was like, the winner gets a Dole Whip at the Polynesian, and that didn't even really motivate her. So she was like, can we go back to the room? It was also like 9 a.m.
That's pretty
So
early for
it wasn't
a teen.
No,
preteen.
she wakes up really early for no reason. Like
okay.
when we did our Hollywood Studios day. Actually, no, that day I woke up at 6:55, and then I tried to get her up at 7, and I was like, "Come on, let's go. We have our Lightning Lane for Slinky Dog booked." And she was like, "No, I'm so tired." But
Kids.
the Animal Kingdom day, she woke up. She woke up with me at like 7, and I was like, I'm gonna go for a run, and she was like, okay. And she just stood there and watched me go. Like, she just counted the laps. And then I was like, I'm gonna get in the shower, and then you should shower after me. And then we had a little bit of a tussle about whether or not she should shower. And but yeah, it was fine. But then yesterday it was pouring rain, and I'm just sick. And then today, same thing. I'm feeling sick. So
it's okay. Recovery is just as important. You shouldn't push yourself because it'll just take longer.
I guess.
Yeah. All right. Now on to our Disney news. Ugh. We've got Deadpool has arrived at Disneyland.
Oh.
I have not. Is that because the movie just came out?
Yeah, it's because the movie came out.
Did anyone see the movie?
Oh, that's fun.
Not yet.
No,
Ben
I haven't seen it yet. Ooh, that would be a good one to go see.
I've heard it's really good.
That's exciting. I bet.
Apparently,
and
it's
Natalie,
so
you said...
funny. Or like just Deadpool in the parks, and also the movie's gonna be funny, but he's been hysterical, and he has to obviously be somewhat family friendly. And if you're not familiar with Deadpool, Deadpool's not family friendly. But story time with Deadpool has been funny, is what I'm hearing.
So is he literally
he's a character now? Like he's a character who walks
I think
around the
they've
park?
had him. They've had him in Avengers Campus, and they have him doing a story time. So characters just kind of roam and do little like shows in Avengers Campus. And like there's a Doctor Strange like show. There's like a Spider-Man, I think, show. So they're doing him as like a little show where he does a story time. Just even funnier.
It's funny. Yeah.
That'll be so cool. I want to go back to Disneyland. I know. Now the 13-year-old, she was kind of like, okay, so there's also a California Disney? And I was like, yes, we need to go. She was like, okay, now I kind of want to go there. I'm like, yes. Every Disney fan needs to go on a pilgrimage to Anaheim.
True.
All right, and then Haunted Mansion Holiday has reopened. By the time you're hearing this, it has opened as of July 29th. So
Wait, what?
Yeah.
They're bringing back Haunted Mansion Holiday?
Yeah. It
mhm.
went down for a refurb after the holiday season this past year, and there was some debates about whether it was going to open, period, because around, I think it's the beginning of
Mhm.
August is when they take it down to bring out Haunted Mansion Holiday, so they just brought out Holiday early. I believe there's still work being done on the queue in California, so I think that there's a virtual queue option to queue for the ride, if I'm not mistaken. But it's back. It's back early. People who are doing the Halloween half, you will be able to ride Haunted Mansion Holiday during your trip there, which is awesome. I really like it. It's awesome. It's honestly awesome. It got me back into riding the Haunted Mansion again because I liked the whimsy and the fun of the Nightmare Before Christmas. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the movie.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the movie either, but the ride is so good. I love the Haunted Mansion overlay that they do. It's so good.
Which movie?
The Nightmare Before
Because
Christmas.
there's more than
The
one now.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, I'm still stuck on Haunted Mansion. Oh my god.
Wait, the Haunted Mansion movie?
Yeah.
Which one?
No. I think my brain was still stuck on that. I didn't realize we had moved on to Nightmare Before Christmas.
I haven't seen the Haunted Mansion movie that came out last summer.
I
Me
liked
neither.
it.
I remember the Eddie Murphy one, which I need to make sure I
Oh,
watch
yeah.
At some point. Just because I remember it being
Yeah.
like kind of cringe, but like good, but like you're also like 10 years old, so that doesn't really matter. So I'm curious how I would watch it as like an adult.
I rewatch it like every year as part of my like Halloween, month of movies. So I've watched it recently.
I think it's a good movie. I like it, the Eddie Murphy one, and I do want to watch the new one that came out last summer.
I saw the new one. It was still good. And it definitely doesn't have the same like cringe factor when I look back at it, but maybe that's because it just came out, and like maybe when we look back in also 10 years we'll be like, wow.
Muppets Haunted Mansion's my jam. Shock.
I just started watching Muppets movies, actually. I'm behind on the Muppets.
I've never been a big Muppets person. I think the puppets freaked me out as a kid.
I watched the one with Jason Segel, and it was really cute. It was so funny.
Recommend the Muppet Christmas Carol, where the one human actor in
I have seen that.
Honestly, he went so hard in the paint. He delivered a performance to the puppets. It's so good. It's funny because I wasn't a big Muppet person as a kid either. But as like in adulthood, I'm like, all right, there's so many people who love the Muppets. I might as well kind of figure out like what's the whole thing. They're funny. I have grown into Muppet fandom.
They are. It was really good.
I'll have to try again.
Now because Food and Wine is coming up. Mm-hmm. Or no, Wine and Dine. Sorry. Wine and Dine is right, yeah. But Wine and Dine, the 5K, is a Muppet theme. So now I'm like, oh, I need to do that. I just watched Tiana's the other day, the Princess and the Frog movie.
Oh, I love
Yep.
that movie.
It's such a good rewatch. I know. I love it too. It's not my first time watching Princess and the Frog, obviously, but it's so good to watch it again.
All right, I think we're ready to move on to our main topic, which is Caitlin's trip to Disney.
Oh,
I know
man.
we've like touched on
Okay.
it up to this point, but like now it's all about you, Kaitlin.
Woo! No, we're gonna have to edit that out. We're gonna have to edit that out of the episode.
So if you're listening and
Oh,
you didn't
man.
hear anything about Caitlin's trip at this point, it's because we had to edit it out.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know how should I
Here,
how should I go about this?
let's start with quickly.
Do you want me to just
how many
literally go
days?
through like
Yeah, tell us how
Okay.
many days you were there, and then I want to hear what was your. We'll do the rose thing. So I want to hear what was like your high, your low. So your thorn, your petal, and your bloom. So or your bud. So
Okay.
like the thing that you didn't like so much maybe would change, your high, which is your petals, and the bloom, which is the thing you were most looking forward to. And did it live up
Okay.
to the hype?
Oh, absolutely. Because it's Disney. Let's see. Well, we were there for 4 days. We flew in on a Monday and then we flew out on a Thursday night. And we just took Spirit. So it was like that super early 7 a.m. flight and then super late at night, like 9 p.m. flight on Thursday. And then I did talk about it in the last episode, but we flew in on a Monday and then we went to Epcot. Tuesday, we had a full day at Hollywood Studios. Wednesday was like our chill resort day. And we went to the pool. We went to Ohana's for breakfast, which was so good. And then Thursday, we checked out of the hotel and we went to Animal Kingdom. And then we had to fly home, which was sad. Surprisingly, the 13-year-old that I went, so I'm a nanny to 2 kids. They are both girls and they are 13 years old. She's going to be 14 in less than a month and she's going into 8th grade. And then the 10-year-old is the little sister and she just turned 10 in May. She'll be going into 4th grade. So surprisingly, the 13-year-old at the end of the trip, she had a lot of notes about things that we could do differently for the next time that we go to
Ooh.
Disney, which I know. And so surprisingly, the mom was like, okay, yeah, let's keep these in mind and think about it when we plan the next Disney trip with Kaitlin. And I was like, there's going to be another one. So
That's good.
I mean, that is good. I do enjoy the job security. The mom says that I'm going to be nannying the little one until she's about 30. So
That's cute.
So yes, I do enjoy the job security. So I'm
All right.
glad about that. But I'm also kind of glad that they're not like, they're not saying that Disney is too expensive and we shouldn't do this anymore. So
That's exciting.
I'm selfishly very excited. Yes.
Okay, so start with your high.
Right.
What was your like tippy top high for you?
Oh man, there was a lot of really good moments. So first of all, we did the Fantasmic Dining Package at Hollywood Studios. That was so good. We went to 50s Prime Time, which is one of my favorite restaurants on property. I know a lot of people don't really like it because of that whole act that they do where like you're the kid and you're coming to mom's house for dinner and the waiters and waitresses are like your aunts and uncles. We had a really fantastic waitress and she was cousin Tegan. She was a really, really funny. And so like I was trying to get her to notice that the kids had their elbows on the tables. And I'd be like, Cousin Tegan, come over here. They have their elbows on the tables. And then she yelled at me, called me a tattletale. So
Respect.
it was really funny. I know. She was so good. She was awesome. We had a really great time and the food was fantastic. Oh, I got the meatloaf. It was very good. And same thing with their meals. They also had I think that one got the pork tenderloin, the other got the fried chicken. It was really, really good. And then there are seats for Fantasmic. We were in like the third row. It was amazing. I love Fantasmic so much. And then the Moana part came on, and I was like, I'm gonna cry. It was so good. But I don't remember them taking away the Maleficent dragon though.
Didn't it catch on fire
Did
like
they?
last year or
Wait,
something? So
That
there was
was
some
Disneyland.
Oh,
That
okay.
wasn't
wait,
ours.
the dragon didn't
That
come up?
yeah.
They must have been having a technical
Yeah,
difficulty.
they didn't
with
do the
her
dragon.
then.
Maybe. Yeah, because so the 10-year-old is like very much obsessed with dragons. And so I told her that this show has a dragon in it, and she was really excited. And the Maleficent part, she just kind of like rose super high up. You know, she's like on a kind of lift
Yeah.
system. It raises her up, and then she's supposed to turn into a dragon, I thought, and she didn't. So I was like, did they get rid of our dragon at Hollywood Studios?
No, they must have just had B mode going for it because I mean, unless something
Maybe.
changed, and it's been 2 months since I was there, and the whole dragon came out.
Oh man. Because well, the 13-year-old, she loved it. She was like super into it the whole time. And afterward, the 10-year-old was like, there weren't a lot of fireworks and there was no dragon. So I didn't like it.
Oh.
I know. She's a tough critic. She's a tough critic, man. If it was not a roller coaster that put her upside down, she was like not a fan and she didn't like it. But I thought it was really, really good. I was just surprised at there was no dragon part. Those might have been my highs, the Ohanas and Fantasmic.
Okay. What about let's
mhm.
let's sandwich it. Let's do the one like the thing you would change. We can go into the full list that your little one had, but like pick one for now.
Well, the little one, the only thing she would change was the weather. So
Got it.
I was like,
So
I
we need to
can't
be
control
God.
the weather. Sorry. Right. Exactly. I was like, okay, the next time I take you to Disney, it's going to be like January. Like, it's going to be cold, relatively cold, so that you're not sweltering in the heat. That was her only thing. That and the lack of thrill rides. So,
Sounds like they need a trip to Cedar Point.
well, that's kind of where it started. Was the 13-year-old had a friend who went to Kings Island this summer, and she wanted to go to Kings Island herself. And I was like, so we live in Louisville, Kentucky, and I showed her a bunch of ride POVs on YouTube, and I was like, look, these are the types of rides that they have at Kings Island, okay?
Kings
And I'm
Island
not
is
going
in
to drive
Cincinnati.
you. Yes, I was like, I'm not going to drive you 2 hours to Mason, Ohio, just for you to chicken out and be like, I can't do this. I'm too scared.
Mm-hmm.
So, right. So that's why she was like, well, then why don't we just go to Disney instead? And I was like, ooh, Disney. I'll go to Disney anytime. So, yeah. The older one, the things that she wanted to change, it was the order of the days that we did things and also
Okay.
the length that we were there. She was like, we should have flew in on Monday and probably did something chill. Or she said we should have gone to Animal Kingdom first because there were so many things at Animal Kingdom that we actually did not even get to do. Like the safari was down for a lot of the day. We didn't go on the Navi River ride because we didn't do Lightning Lane, and I was not about to wait an hour and a half for Navi River. That's just not really worth an hour and a half. Let's see, what other Animal Kingdom things did we not do? Oh, we didn't do like the Maharaja Jungle Trek or the Gorilla Falls hiking walkthrough experience. And they had wanted to do those things as well. So there just wasn't enough time. We had to go into the airport. So we probably should have done that day first because everybody shows up there in the morning and then people are not there in the afternoon. So we probably could have rolled in at noon and then stayed until 7 p.m. And we probably could have gotten more done if we had arranged it that way instead of waiting to do Animal Kingdom last. but they had been to Epcot before. It was familiar to them. So that's why I was like, let's do Epcot first because I know that you guys are excited about it. It's also the older one's favorite park. She loves Ratatouille and Guardians and Soarin'. Those are like her top 3 rides on property. So she was loving Epcot, and
I don't think I've
she
ridden
did
any of
like
those.
what? You've never been on Soarin'?
Ma'am?
No, that's not true. I've been on Soarin', but I haven't been on Soarin' as an adult in like a long time. So yeah, I don't think I've been on Soarin'
No.
since I was a kid.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wait, even during Princess?
Even
When we
during
were there in
Princess, we
February?
didn't go. Ben didn't seem, I don't know if he hasn't been on it or if he just doesn't care for it or what, but he wasn't interested and we couldn't get a lightning lane or something, and the lines was really long at the time, but we didn't ride it.
No. Because
Also,
that's when they did Soarin' over California in
yeah,
February.
I know, and we didn't do it. But we were also having a really
No.
rough day when we were at Epcot. I really struggled that whole trip I was having a lot of dehydration, heat exhaustion, runner's flu kind of symptoms like every day. I was really struggling to like drink water and eat, period, because I was just like constantly nauseous. So this is your tip. Don't be like me. Fuel appropriately.
Yeah, we really needed to hydrate a ton on this trip. So it was really good that we had those little camping water bottle things, and we just kept refilling them the whole day, every day, and taking the break to go to the pool was actually really good too. Yeah. Going into the trip, I was kind of thinking about resort hopping a little bit. I kind of wanted to book like one night or so at Beach Club or Yacht Club, whichever one had availability, because that Monday night they were doing deluxe extended
yeah.
hours in the evening for Epcot. But literally the last thing that we needed was to stay in Epcot until 11 p.m. because once it was like 5 p.m., the little one, she like hit a wall and she was like, I'm so done. I'm exhausted because she had been up since like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So I was kind of glad. Like we did go back to the room for a little bit and we like chilled out. We went to the pool and then we went back in the evening at like 7, something like that. Regal Eagle was so good. I
Love it.
highly recommend getting food there. Oh, I love Regal Eagle, but they just take forever to make the food, probably because it's fresh, which was really good. But it took so long to mobile order everything that we didn't get our food until like 8:55 p.m. And I was just really, really trying to avoid fireworks because neither of them really like loud noises. And it's any kind of loud noise like thunder or cars backfiring, fireworks. Like they are not big fans. So I was trying to like avoid that fireworks rush and like get them out of the park and get them to bed. But we ended up seeing a little bit of fireworks, which they actually did really well and they didn't freak out at the fireworks. So that was really good. So maybe next time we could go to do like Epcot fireworks or something. Or I was thinking of doing like Magic Kingdom fireworks and just watching them from like the Poly or the Contemporary. We didn't end up doing that because we were at Disney Springs. But maybe the next trip we might try to plan fireworks into there because they were a lot better with the loud noises.
Yeah.
So that was good. What else did they want to change? Oh, surprisingly, the older one, she was saying that maybe next time we should skip Epcot. Surprisingly.
Ooh.
Wow. Hot take.
I know. It was a very hot take. I was like, that's your favorite park. Are you serious? But so they also did the 3-day, 3-park ticket. It was the Epcot Hollywood Studios Animal Kingdom. And it's $89 per day. So it was a really good deal. The only thing was just we couldn't go to Magic Kingdom, which kind of was a bummer. The older one, she didn't really care about missing out on Magic Kingdom because for her, it was just too overwhelming, too overstimulating. The only thing that she was sad about was that we were going to miss out on Tiana's and Tron because they have not been on those yet. So she was like, maybe next time we could do Animal Kingdom first and then do Magic Kingdom and then Hollywood Studios. but that was, and she was like, maybe we could skip Epcot because they've technically done all of the rides in that park.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But our Hollywood Studios Day.
Until the new test track comes out. Then they won't have.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. I really hope the test track is kind of more like the OG test track. Is that what it's going to be?
I don't know.
I don't know. I
They
really.
said something like it was going to be like World of Motion or whatever.
I don't know.
Speculate.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't go on Mission Space either in Epcot, but I was like, I don't really want to do that one. We did do the Frozen ride, so that was good. Oh, when we were in line for Soarin', so we did Living with the Land, and since we were already in the Land Pavilion, I was like, let's just go on Soarin', and it was kind of late at night. It was the last thing that we did at like 8 something at night, and the line was like 20 minutes. And I'm like, we can definitely wait for 20 minutes in the standby line. Like, we didn't do Lightning Lane that day. We didn't buy the Genie Plus because it was still Genie Plus while we were there. And the little one, like, she looked at the line and she started doing this like hyperventilating thing that she does because she's very dramatic. I know. She was like, I don't want to. No, you can't make me wait in that line. And so, like every other parent, I just handed her my phone and I gave her the Play Disney Parks app and had the Soarin' trivia going. And I said, here, do this. And she went, okay, yay. And she was totally fine for the rest of the wait. And I was like, oh man, like I want to be like a crunchy parent and be like, no screens, no phones. But as soon as I gave her my phone with the Play Disney Parks app, she was fine. She was good to go. She waited in the whole 20-minute thing and she was totally fine.
Does she like the ride at least?
Oh, yeah. She did enjoy
Okay.
the ride. I think she might have even put it in her top 10 of rides.
Oh, we'll have to hear about that later.
Oh, yeah. I did write down all of their top 10 favorites. Let's see,
all right.
I put my phone.
So we've got all the, is that all of the things they would change or you would change? Because I feel like we heard theirs, maybe not yours.
So. You know, I think maybe this is a hot take, but I think maybe I wouldn't want to rope drop the parks anymore. That might be something that I change because on our day that we did buy the Genie Plus and we were using the lightning lanes, I wasn't purposely trying to stack all of our lightning lanes for later in the day. I was just getting like all of the most popular ones that I could. So like first I booked Slinky and then Rock and Roller Coaster and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and then Toy Story Midway Mania. So like all of those rides, they only had lightning lanes for later in the day. So our first lightning lane didn't start until like 2:30 and we got to the park at 8:30 right when we could for like resort guests because everybody else could get in at 9. And so when we had to spend the first couple of hours of the day with no lightning lanes at all, the younger one was like, I thought we were using lightning lanes. Why are we waiting in all these standby lines? What is this? I don't like this at all. And then we had to like leave and go to the pool so she could chill out for like a few hours. But I was like, you know, if I had known that all of our lightning lanes were just going to be at like 3 p.m., I probably just would have let you guys sleep in and then go to the pool first. And then we could have gotten here at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But we still did everything in the whole park. Like we went on every ride and we did the Muppet Show and we did the One Man's Dream. We met,
Gold medal.
Ariel. And we even left the park for a few hours to go to the pool. And we did a sit-down dinner at 50's Prime Time. And we saw Fantasmic. And we went on every ride. We also did Alien Swirling Saucers twice. So I don't know why the 13-year-old loved that one.
I am mind blown. I don't even know if I don't even think I've ever had that productive of a day at a park. And you did it with kids.
Yeah. I mean, there's like 12 rides in all of Hollywood Studios. Yeah. And it must be the smallest park. Yeah. I wanted to fact check that before we got on the pod, but I think Hollywood Studios might be the smallest, like land mass geographically wise.
Square footage.
Right.
Hectares.
Because we got on everything and we zigzagged everywhere. Like the only ones that we didn't use Lightning Lane for was Star Tours was like a 5-minute wait. We did Alien Swirling Saucers once without a Lightning Lane, and then we did it again with a Lightning Lane. And we rope dropped Tower of Terror. Oh, and then Midway Mania. So this was another thing that I wanted to like kind of debunk, like a myth that I heard. I heard that if you purchase Lightning Lanes, that because you're buying them, Disney can't just deny you access to the ride.
What?
Right. This was like a myth that I heard. Well, so going before
Like that it guarantees you to get on a ride or something?
to get into the Lightning Lane. Like you bought the Genie Plus and you booked a Lightning Lane for the ride, but if you were late to your Lightning Lane, they can't just deny you the Lightning Lane.
They can. But I feel like cast members usually try to like at least help you out.
Right. I thought you had to be on time, and I thought there was only a little bit of a grace period of like you can be 5 minutes early, you could be 5 minutes late, but that was the only thing that I had heard. But then I heard on YouTube from a YouTuber that even if you booked a Lightning Lane for like 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., you could still ride this ride at like 8 p.m. That was what I had heard. No. Well, technically,
fake news.
It worked for us because we left to go to the pool and we didn't come back to Hollywood Studios until our dinner reservation was going to start at 4:30 p.m., which I know dinner at 4:30 was like super early. And then once we got there, we came back to the park, we went straight to dinner and we sat down and we ate dinner for like over an hour. And then we had like 3 hours or so in between dinner and when we needed to be there for Fantasmic. And I was like, guys, we have like 5 or 6 Lightning Lanes that I've just been booking and stacking all day. So let's try to get on these Lightning Lanes that I booked. And it worked for like almost every single one of them. We had a 2:30 Lightning Lane for for Rock and Roller Coaster. And so we showed up to Rock and Roller Coaster at like 7:30 and we scanned in and the guy was like, it's fine, just go. Just get on the ride. It's fine. Like he did not care that we were like 5 hours late for our Lightning Lane.
That's definitely gotta be like a cast member. Like
it must be cast member to cast member.
Yeah, definitely not guaranteed.
Right. Because then we had other Lightning Lanes that were like, they were for like 5 p.m. and they ended at 6 and it was like 6:30 and they were like, whatever, it's fine. You know, you're like a half hour late. So the Rock and Roller Coaster one, that was huge when we were like 5 hours late-ish to that one. But we tried to get onto Toy Story Midway Mania and we had a Lightning Lane and I think it was for like 3:30 or 4:30, something like that. So like it was long over. Like we were like 2 hours late or something to this Lightning Lane. We scanned in and the cast member who was working the Lightning Lane ride, whatever, the Lightning Lane, she was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like you're 2 hours late. You're just way too late for this and I can't let you go on it. And we were like, oh, whatever. And then the ride actually went down and after we went on Rock and Roller Coaster, it came back up. We ran back over to Toy Story Land and it only had a 5-minute wait. And so it was a walk on. We got onto it through the standby queue. And so we were still able to ride it through the standby and we didn't even have to wait very long. But yeah, that one, I feel like there's a lot of people listening to YouTube and I wonder if they're like, oh, I can just get on it because like I paid for this and they can't deny me. But apparently they can in some cases.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we could read like fully like flush out the terms and conditions and stuff. But yeah, I think as long as you're, you know, not multiple hours late, you might get lucky, but the cast members want you to have a good time and they're going to do their best to make sure that they can provide that, but it's definitely not guaranteed.
The other thing I was worried about a little bit was our Rise of the Resistance. We paid the extra for the individual Lightning Lane. And that one, I don't think you really get a say in the time, right? For when you pick your individual Lightning Lane. Maybe, maybe not.
I've never gone.
I don't know, but it was I
You
forget.
can, but can't. Where like you can't like go in at like 7 a.m. and then go pick for 3 p.m. You kind of have to wait till it starts updating until 3 p.m. becomes available. And you can select it, pay for it, and then move it later. So say, I don't know, you had 11 a.m., you wanted it at 9, not 9 p.m., but like 7 p.m. You can kind of, as times come available,
Mhm.
refresh it throughout the day.
I've tried modifying lightning lanes before, and then they just delete and they're
Oh.
gone. Like, I remember I used to do that with the old FastPass Plus system where you could like modify and change the time, and ever since they've switched, I'm like I tried to do it once and I lost a lightning lane. Like, it was just gone. So I
Traumatized.
know. So I'm like, I'm not touching it. So when I went to buy the Rise of the Resistance individual lightning lane, the only time that came up was like literally 4:30 when we had our dinner reservation. And I knew that I could probably talk to guest relations or whatever, but I didn't. And I just went to dinner. And then when we were done with dinner, our lightning lane was over. But our waitress was super nice, and she was like, here, just bring them the receipt for dinner and just tell them we had a sit down dinner at 50's prime time. And like it was during our lightning lane. And like the only time that it had when we went to purchase the lightning lane was literally during our dinner. But they were totally fine. As soon as we scanned in, the thing turned green. They were like, you're good to go. Doesn't matter that you're late. You're fine. So it was whatever. So that one worked out for us. Yeah. But every other lightning lane, they were like, you're a little late. And they typically were like, oh, it's fine. We don't care that you're late. But it was just that one cast member at Midway Mania was like, nope, sorry, I'm not going to let you on.
It might have had to do with like how the ride was. Like if they already had a long line and like there a lot of people had just walked in for their time slot,
True.
like that also
I
probably
think that's
plays
what
it.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a 2-hour wait when we tried to scan in with our lightning lane that we were late for. So I think they were just like, we're already at capacity. We
Yeah.
can't take any more. Yeah. So, but then it just happened to go down. And when it came back up, there was like no line. It was amazing. We literally waited 4 minutes in the standby line.
That's
So that was
awesome.
really good. Yeah. And I got a high score, a personal best on Toy Story Midway Mania.
I'm
Was
so
very
bad at
proud of
that one.
myself. Yes. Apparently, if you just keep aiming for the really high, like the high points, like the thousands, you know what I mean? Like with like a little plate or something that has like 1,000 points on it. Those are the ones that you just aim for. And then suddenly they'll turn into like 2,000 points. I read this online. It's like a hack for Midway Mania.
Yeah. I think I'm just
So
really
that was what
bad
I
at
did.
aiming that one for some reason way more than I'm like way better at Buzz. But
Oh, I'm the worst at Buzz Lightyear. I am the worst. Natalie's over here like, I don't want to say.
Well,
Natalie is our galactic hero.
Yeah, I still have yet to be best in for this hour in Toy Story Midway Mania, and that haunts me. Even when I've tried to time it so that I'm on there like when the hour changes, nope. It haunts me.
Mm.
you'll
All
get
I
there
had was
someday.
best in vehicle. You know, and I was sitting by myself too, because the two girls were sitting next to each other. They wanted to like compete against each other, and I was like, "Man, nobody's gonna compete against me." Dang it!
Nobody can ruin your vibe.
I really true. I really need to get Austin back to Hollywood Studios, and I really want to do Midway Mania with him. That would be so fun because he's such a gamer. He would love that.
Game on.
Yeah.
All right. So what was your most anticipated part of the trip?
Well, for
like
the
what were you looking
kids,
forward to the most? Oh yeah. Like what were they looking forward to? What were you looking forward to?
for the kids, what they were looking forward to the most was Guardians because they've already been on it and they love it. And we got Everybody Wants to Rule the World for our song. Yes, that's definitely our favorite. Me and the 13-year-old, she loves music. So we just spent like the whole time in line, like manifesting. We're like, we're going to get Tears for Fears. We're going to get Tears for Fears. And then we did. And that was so good. And the younger one, she loves Guardians. That was the first ride that we did. So she was really happy about that. but she also really wanted to do Rock and Roller Coaster, and we did, which was great. And then she and I went on Everest together. And then the 13-year-old, she did Dinosaur by herself for a second
Atta girl.
time. I am not a fan of Dinosaur. I am sorry.
We're not gonna make
I am
it.
very excited for we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it. I was like quoting the ride the whole time. I hadn't been on that one in years, so it was good to do it because I know that they're probably going to change it and make it Indiana Jones. But I am not super sad about that. I'm going to welcome Indy with open arms. The only thing is I'm sad if they take away the whole Dino Land USA from Animal Kingdom because that's just going to take away from the philosophy of the park where it's animals that were prehistoric, what is it? Ancient, mythical and present day,
I think it's
something like
animals
that.
that
Mm-hmm.
all or like that currently are, were, and never have been. So like something like that.
Yeah. Something. Yeah, but if they take away Dino Land, then that's the animals that were and no longer exist. So that's gonna be sad.
Well, we'll have to see.
Maybe
how they
they'll
update it.
still. Yeah, we'll see. And I'm like, if they do Indy, then they still have a chance to like do, because archaeology.
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, okay. True. Yeah, I could see how it would fit in, but they were gonna make it like South America and then put in like Encanto or something. I don't know. But we did all of the Dino Land stuff. We did Triceratops Spin and the Boneyard and Dinosaur, just so that, in case Dino Land USA is no more, we did all of the things. So that was really good. And we went on Everest. I kind of told the younger one a little bit of a lie.
Oh,
And I
A little fib.
told her a little bit, which is so bad because we're trying to get her to tell the truth all the time. But I always thought that Everest made you go upside down. In the
Oh.
after the broken track scene and right before the Yeti shadow scene, there's that part where you're going backwards. And I always thought that you're going upside down. And me and my college program friends literally thought that you went upside down on Everest. And we asked a cast member friend who worked on the ride. And we were like, hey, does Everest go upside down? And they said no, because you only have that lap bar restraint. You don't have an over the shoulder restraint.
Mhm.
So that's how you know that it doesn't go upside down. But the little one, she looked at Everest and she was like, I'm only going to go on it if it goes upside down. And I was like, yeah, sure, it goes upside down. Yeah, let's go. And she believed it. And she was like, oh my God, we went upside down and backwards in the dark. That was the coolest. That was way better than Rock and Roller Coaster. And I was like,
Wait.
sure.
So she manifested in her brain, even though it didn't happen, that it happened.
You have that feeling though, because you're in the dark
Yeah.
and going
And the force.
backwards. And like, yes, that G-force like pushes you into the seat. And so it really truly feels like you're going upside down.
Yeah.
At least I think that you're going upside down. And she totally bought into it. Like, we got off the ride and she was like, yeah, that was cool. My favorite part was when we were going upside down in the dark. That was awesome. I was like, all right, cool. You got it. You bought it.
Incredible.
Cool. Yeah, the older one, she didn't go on that. She went on Dinosaur again. But like, she gets scared on a lot of things. She had like a jump scare on Living with the Land. So there's like an alligator animatronic on the ride, like towards the very beginning. And she just happened to be sitting on the right side of the boat. And like this alligator animatronic like popped up out of the water, like right at her as we were going by. And she was like, she literally screamed and like
Aw.
held on to me.
Poor baby.
And I know. So like, so she was not really wanting to go on the bigger rides. So, but that's totally fine. She went on Tower of Terror and I told her about Mr. Natalie. Oh, we haven't had the honeymoon episode come out yet, so I won't spoil anything. But yeah, I told her about Mr. Natalie going on Tower of Terror, and she was like, "Wait, so this is a scary ride?" And I was like, "Yep, it's a scary ride." And oh, that ride photo and the ride video is so good. She's like basically
Oh.
crying. And we got
Aw.
we got such a good Tower of Terror ride though, because it's randomized. And so I had them guess, do you think it'll make us go up first or is it gonna drop us first? And it dropped us first. And then there's this little like holographic ghost that is like in the very bottom of the elevator shaft. And so that little ghost thing appeared for us. And she was like, "I'm gonna pee my pants." And it was so funny. She was
Aw.
like crying, and then she was like, "How many times do we go up and down?" And I was like, "I don't know, it's random." And she was like, "This is not the time to tell me that." It was so
My husband and I had a similar
Did she at least-
conversation as we were entering the drop shaft.
Oh man. Yeah,
Did she
it
at
was
least
a really
enjoy
good
it?
ride.
Like post
Oh,
ride,
she
was she
loved
happy?
it.
Okay, because my parents
She
took
was
me
really
on
happy
that.
afterward.
They took me on that as
Oh,
a
no.
kid, and I was traumatized. I was afraid to ride that ride until like
Oh no.
well past middle school. Like I was so scared of that ride. I would have nightmares about it at home. The second time we ever went back to Disney, because I was a tall kid, so I was able to ride rides a lot younger than a lot of other people.
Oh,
And so they took me
that's what
on
it
like
is.
really young. And then so that
Oh,
next time we went
no.
back, I had to ride. I didn't ride it, but I had to wait in line the whole time. So I was like having anxiety, freaking out the whole time,
Oh,
thinking like I
no.
wasn't going to be able to dip out. And also, the way to chicken out on that ride is you have to get on a real elevator. And I was
Ah.
literally having a meltdown. I was like, you cannot make me get on that. Like, I don't believe you that this is like a normal elevator. You're lying to me. I was full on panicking. And like
Oh
they
my
leave the lights on
gosh.
and everything, and like the cast members like really tried to talk me down. And I guess I was old enough that I didn't have to have a parent wait with me, because like I remember being by myself. Like my parents did not come on that with like dip out with me, but it was an experience. So I'm glad that even
Oh,
though she was
no.
scared and like worried ahead of time, that she enjoyed it.
That's so sad that you had that experience.
But now I
Oh,
love it.
no.
So now it's fine. Ben and I rode
Oh,
that. We
good.
did after hours at Princess for Hollywood Studios, and we went around and around and around and around. Even though his mom was with
Oh,
us and he refused
nice.
to wait, like get on that, she just waited outside and like had a snack, and we just went around and around and around.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I feel like there's some conversation about like kids being tall enough for rides, but they're not like mentally ready for rides.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I remember I say she's my little cousin, but she's 21 now. But when she was 4, we went to Disney and we put her on like all the big rides. Like she went on Everest and Rock and Roller Coaster that trip as a 4-year-old. And she was like, "I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna fall out." So, yeah. So maybe
Things to
maybe I
consider.
won't do that to my future children. Yeah. Maybe I won't put them on a ride before they're ready for it. But I mean, she's 13, the kid that I just went with. So, I mean, she was fine. And afterwards she was laughing. She was like, "That was so funny. That was so good." But she was like, at the time that was really scary, and I was like, "Do you want to do it again? Like I'll get a lightning lane for it." And she was like, "No, thanks. I'm good." She was like, "I did it once. I'm fine." Yeah. Yeah. So what was the question? What was that part?
I don't remember
The
how we
most
got there.
anticipated? I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, it was most anticipated, but
Okay. Yeah, for them that was just going on the thrill rides for the little one. And she said that was the first time she'd ever gone upside down on a roller coaster. So, so that was really exciting for her. All right. And then what's another thing from the trip? Like the part of the rose.
No, I think you did them all. We got the thorn, which is the
Oh,
things you would change. We got the petals, which are the like highs, the things you guys liked, and we got the
okay.
the bud, which is like what you anticipate before it blooms. Um,
Nice.
we could talk about
There was
food.
an there
Oh,
was
more.
okay, because I was gonna say there was another funny thing about Disney Springs. Um, I was trying to mobile order us something to eat, and there's only like 4 places in all of Disney Springs that do mobile
Yeah.
ordering, which was kind of a bummer.
They're usually through
Yeah.
their own
So we
apps,
got dinner
like their
at
own websites. Like
Yeah.
Chicken Guy, Polite Pig, it's their own
Oh,
interface. It's just not through Disney's.
got
So,
it.
pro tip for next time, you just have to Google the
Gotcha.
website.
Okay.
Also, if you want a reservation at those places, you can get reservations at most of them well before the 90-day window because they are like not owned by Disney. So you can go through like Open Table. Yeah.
Ooh, nice. Okay. Yeah, we did. I mean, we still had a really good dinner. We went to Deluxe Burger, and that was kind of on my like food bucket list. I really wanted to try it. And so I was doing the mobile ordering for them, and I was asking them, what do you want to eat and what do you want to drink? And so for the younger one, she's really improved a lot on her reading skills, because like these kids were foster kids and now they're adopted, which is really exciting. And before they had came to their current adoptive parents, they like had no experience of like going to school and like reading and things like that. So the younger one's definitely getting a lot better, but it was just a moment where it really backfired on me because we were standing like right outside of World of Disney, and then across from there is like this little margarita stand. And so when I said, "What do you want to drink?" she said, "Can I get a margarita?" and, and she's literally 10 years old. And I was like, "No, you cannot have a margarita." And so she kind of started throwing a fit. And she was like, "But I want a margarita." And I'm like, "Hey, if I can't have a margarita on this trip, you can't have a margarita." And she was like, "Why? I want a margarita." And
Did she know what
I
a
was like,
margarita is?
I don't think she knows. Because I had to be like, on your 21st birthday, in 11 years from now, I will literally buy you a margarita, but not for another 11 years. And she was like, "Ugh, what? Why do I have to wait 11 years?" And her sister was like, "Because there's alcohol in it." So that was definitely a funny food moment. And then she kind of started going around asking random cast members, like when we got to Deluxe Burger and we picked up our food from mobile order, she was like, "Do you guys have margaritas here? Can I have a margarita?" And there's just like all these random strangers. So, like, if you overheard a 10-year-old asking for a margarita at Disney Springs last week, just know that she never got that margarita. Okay. We never let her have any alcohol. I did not get alcohol at all. I did not give her like a sip of alcohol. Nothing. None of that happened. Okay. She just is 10 and is learning how to read. So so that's all that happened.
I feel
No
like
margaritas were consumed.
all the parents listening are like chuckling because I'm sure this is like a common experience when kids are learning
Oh,
like new
God.
words,
I
expanding their
hope
vocab.
so. Yeah, for real.
Well, because like it
Ugh.
reminds me of when I hear my coworkers who have like toddlers who are just like they don't know what any words mean, but they hear, other people say them and they say like curse words, but they don't know that they're bad words yet. Like it reminds me of that.
Right. Yeah, I
And you
know.
like
Oh, that
want to
was kind of
laugh,
funny though.
but like also maybe not the appropriate
Oh, we were
response.
laughing for sure. But I was like, "No." And I'm trying to like not be, cuz that's the type of parents that they are too. Like they're really like into redirecting and things like that and like giving reasonings. Like they don't just say no for no reason. And so I was like, "No, you can't have a margarita," cuz all these people were nearby being like, "What is that girl trying to give her daughter a margarita?" Like she's not my daughter, and I definitely didn't give her a margarita. And but she just was like, "Oh, what?" Like she's not usually heard, like she's not used to like hearing the word no a lot. So I was like, "You can't have a margarita until you're 21 because there's alcohol in it." So, oh my goodness. So those kids are just, they're crazy. I don't know. But I have a list of all of their top 10 favorite attractions too.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if
Let's
we want to
hear.
get
I
into
have a
that.
question first.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
sure.
When you were in Epcot, how was it being there
Mhm.
without the festivals? Also, were the booths still up?
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Oh, good
Aren't the
question.
booths
Yes,
always
I
up?
made a
Just like
point.
So
shuttered?
they used to not be.
Yeah.
Like back in the day when they had like more than like 2 seconds between a festival, they used to like move them out, because I remember being there once when they were moving
Right.
out the ones for food and wine. And
Right.
now,
They do wheel them
yes,
backstage.
and you would know, were they out and shuttered, or were they gone?
They were out and they just had like, I know, I was very surprised. Yeah. And on the
They
plane
gotta be
ride
sweeping
there
under
to
those at some
Disney,
point.
I know, right? Maybe there's some that are just like permanent fixtures now. So like for example, like Swirled Showcase. I
Love.
think that's what it was called. It was like an ice cream. Yes, love. I went there during Flower and Garden. I got the peanut butter and jelly swirled. Oh, so good. So good. But I did notice that it was right there. And it was functioning though.
Okay.
So they still had Swirled Showcase going on and they were giving out ice cream. They only had chocolate, vanilla, and swirled. There was no fun favors like peanut butter and jelly. But yeah, like the Canada booth was like right next to it and it was closed. They also had like the Spain one out and it was closed. Italy was out but closed. What was that one? Like Colombia? It's like kind of sitting there right in between like Morocco and
I think it
something.
is because I remember
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been there during like food and wine, but
Yet.
I remember on a
Yeah.
different
You will
podcast
be.
I was hearing someone say about how they wanted there to be like authentic arepas at that booth
Right.
and they weren't. They were like arepas from somewhere else and they're like that doesn't make sense. Like Encanto is in this country and you have this country's booth. Why are we not like fully leaning into it? That was a tangent,
Right.
but yeah.
I liked the arepas when I tried them at Flower and Garden a few years ago. I thought they were good, but I've never had like authentic ones from Colombia, so I don't know. But yeah, I was listening to there's a podcast called The Happiest Podcast on Earth. I think that's what it's called. On the plane ride there, and they had an episode recently that came out called Diet Epcot, and it was basically just what are all the things that you can do at Epcot now that there's no festival. And they were asking each other like, are the festival booths still out or did they put them backstage? And so yes, they are still out, surprisingly. I thought that they would
Me
put them
too.
backstage because that's what they usually do. Yeah, I was really surprised to see them just out and about. And the last time that I had been to Disney with the girls, we did Magic Kingdom and Epcot, and it was during Flower and Garden. And so they totally remembered that. And they were asking about things like they wanted to get the frushi from Japan and I know, oh, I love that frushi and the potato pancakes from Germany. And then the younger one remembered the Dole Whip. And so I was kind of like, oh man, I don't know if they're going to have Dole Whip now that it's not festival season. But surprisingly, at Refreshment Outpost, like the African pavilion, yeah, they had Dole Whip for her. So that was good. She got a Dole Whip. I got a frozen Coke. And that was really good. Mm-hmm. I hadn't tried the frozen Coke without alcohol in it, which makes me sound really bad. But it was really good.
When
So,
you're over
I liked
21,
it.
you get to make your own choices.
Right. But then when you're kind of like responsible for someone else's children, like you don't really just want to be like drinking around the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So no congaloosh for me.
It's okay. We'll
So
rectify
sad.
that.
What was your favorite food that you had while you were there? Did you try anything new?
Ooh, yes. Oh, so one thing that I tried was that croquet glacé from the ice cream shop in the France Pavilion.
Fancy.
So it was so good. Have
Is
you
it like
seen it's
fried
like
ice
kind of
cream?
viral. So it's like this like fried bun sort. I don't know if it's fried, but it's sort of like a donut bun situation.
Like a fritter.
Like a sweet bun. It was so good. And then you get to pick the scoop of ice cream that they put in between the bun. And then they also had 3 different flavors of sauces, like chocolate sauce, caramel sauce, and like a raspberry sauce, I think it was, for the third one. Yeah. So I got mint chocolate chip ice cream with chocolate sauce, and it was so good. But the ice cream is really cold, and then the bun is hot, and they also put it in like a panini press.
Oh,
So it's
you
like
know what?
really
I
warm.
have. Yeah, I have seen this.
Yeah,
So it's
people talk about this like on social media all the time.
wow. It reminds me,
You
I mean,
gotta
have you ever had a pudgy pie?
know
Oh my
what's
god.
that?
A
Is
pudgy,
this a
it's a
Chicago
camping thing.
thing?
No, well, I think it might be a Midwestern thing. I don't know. It's
Um,
when
haven't heard of
you
a pudgy
go
pie.
go camping. It's like 2 pieces of bread, and you can have a sweet pudgy pie or you can have a savory pudgy pie, and it's 2 pieces of bread. It's like this clamped iron thing, and we always made both. So we would make like pizza pudgy pies and dessert pudgy pies. So you got 2 pieces of bread, and if you're doing a sweet one, then like think like apple pie filling or Nutella or some or like Nutella and berries, and you put it between the 2 and it goes in
Ooh.
this like clamped iron with really long, and you put it in a campfire and it like toasts and like seals it together. And then you could do savory, so you could do pizza, that was really common for us, or you could do like ham and cheese or whatever. And the sweet ones, that was making me think of like what you were saying with like the hot, because you could totally like the ice cream would probably melt since it has to go into campfire, but the like pie filling vibes, anywho, that's what it
Yeah, and
triggered for me.
the ice cream was definitely melting in this like sandwich thing that I got. So it was definitely rough to like walk and eat, I guess. Like, cause it was dripping. It just was hot from the panini press.
Hmm.
Um, but oh, it was so good. It was definitely really worth it. It was in the like Les Artisans or whatever it's called in the France Pavilion. Like if you go back into the like not the expansion Pavilion with the Remy ride, but just the normal one where you go back behind like Les Chefs de France, and then there's that 5-star restaurant, the Monsieur Paul's, and then there's the like patisserie shop over there too. There's an ice cream shop, and that's where it was at. It was like really tucked away in the back, and it was so good. So it was definitely on my list of things to try, and it was awesome. It definitely lived up to the hype. Let's see, what other
Oh, I
food
pulled
did
up
we
the picture
have?
while you were talking about it just so I could like look at it.
It
And
was
yeah,
really
it's
good.
like definitely a brioche bun if you ever had
Yes, the
brioche, which is like
brioche
a
bun.
sweet bread. And
Yeah,
then yeah, it's a huge scoop of ice
it was like a
cream.
sweet bun.
Panini meets waffle.
Mhm.
It's like panini meets waffle press looking thing.
Yeah,
Intriguing.
Oh my gosh,
for
and they're
sure.
putting the sauce, I'm watching a reel right now, and they're putting the sauce, like, inside the, like,
Like a
lid
little
of the brioche
Mickey.
bun. Yeah, like a Mickey.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, it
Yeah.
looks like
It
my
was
waffle
really cute.
maker.
It was very cute. It was really good. And then the 13-year-old, she got there was like an ice cream sundae from there in a waffle bowl, and she got
Mm.
2 scoops of ice cream, and then the I think she did caramel sauce on hers. Hers was really good, and mine was also really good. Hers was less, it was in like a waffle cone bowl, so she didn't really want to walk and eat hers. Um, but hers was still really good. Let's see. One thing I wanted to try in Epcot was the from Norway. I wanted to get their like Kristoff coffee. I guess that's what it's called.
ooh.
They have an alcoholic version called the Viking
Oh, that I've
coffee,
heard of.
but I wasn't doing. Yeah, I haven't tried the Viking coffee yet either. But this is just like the non-alcoholic version,
I
and
think
I
Ben
wanted to
had
try
that.
it, but I didn't. Was it good?
Yeah. Is that one blended or is
That
that one not?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
We got
But I just
coffee in the
heard that it
Norway
was really
Pavilion.
good. Okay.
Yeah, and I had a
I've
sip
heard
because I
that
don't
it's
drink
really
coffee.
good. Oh, okay. That and the school bread. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on the school bread from Norway.
I had mixed reviews. It depends because there's multiple kinds. There's like
Mm.
a
Some people say it's great, and then other people say that it's disgusting.
So one of ours, so we had 2 different flavors, and I can't remember which ones we had, but one of them I thought was, like, really dry, but the other one
Okay.
wasn't. So I don't know if we just got a bad one or if it's flavor dependent, like, because it impacts, like, when you add things into a bread, it impacts the level of hydration that you have to do in order to, like, maintain that thing. So I don't know if, like, they use the same base regardless and, like, don't adjust for that. I have no idea. But one of them, yeah, I think the plain one, whatever, like, the traditional one is, that one was really dry, and we didn't love it.
Okay. All right. Well, for the next Disney trip, I'm going to keep that in mind for sure. Oh, and then we went to Regal Eagle, and that was so good. I got the like barbecue jackfruit sandwich. It's technically like a plant-based item, but it had like coleslaw and pickles on it. And like, I really love that. It was so good. It was really savory, and I thought it was awesome. So I would definitely get that one again. It was perfect. And then Hollywood Studios, we did Woody's
What'd
Lunchbox
you get?
and Ronto Roasters. Oh, gotta get the tacho bowl. Love it.
Love
So
tachos.
good. I love the tachos from Woody's Lunchbox. Ugh. But I know that the grilled cheese is also has like a cult following. And
I
I do
love
need to
grilled
try that.
cheese. Yeah, I'll have to try it next time.
Sorry if you're
So
hungry and
good.
listening to this and also sitting in the Run Disney queue where you cannot get up and fix that.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
we'll
that
have to
would
put a
suck.
disclaimer at the beginning of,
Do
like,
not listen hangry.
get your snacks. Yeah, get your
Right.
snacks, get
If
your
you're
tea.
hangry, don't listen to this episode. That's so funny. Yep. Yeah, and then we went to 50s Primetime. That was all we had at Hollywood Studios, and I also got the Black Calf cold brew coffee from Katsakaz in Galaxy's Edge. That one's really good. Yeah, the mobile ordering that I had to do that morning was a little crazy. We went to 3 different places and picked up all of our breakfast items. And then Animal Kingdom, all we did was Yak and Yeti for lunch because that morning we got breakfast at Everything Pop,
Mm.
which was,
Ben,
I mean, kind of basic,
yeah.
but it was good.
What's the
What did Ben do?
what's the, like, quick version of Yak and Yeti? Because you can, like, or is Yak and
Yeah,
Yeti? Yeah.
that's
Oh
what
my
it,
gosh, I'm
we didn't
confusing
do
myself.
they have Yak and Yeti like a sit down, and then they have Yak and Yeti the counter service, and we
Yeah,
did the
so
counter
at
service.
counter service, Ben absolutely, it is his favorite breakfast actually from Yak and Yeti because they're like
Ooh.
potato. It's like it's almost like a skillet bowl, but like not in a skillet because they're not doing that. But it's breakfast potatoes. You can pick sausage, bacon, egg, onions, peppers, cheese, and then there's hot sauce and salsa and stuff that you can put on it. And Ben liked it so much our very first visit that it was like his number one request when we went back for Princess this past February. He was
Wow.
like, "We have to go get this breakfast bowl." And I'm not gonna lie,
Okay.
it wasn't as good for me the second time because I think our onions were a little underdone, but it is really good. And it's a good
Oh.
deal too, I think. For the price, I think you get a lot of food and it's very filling.
We probably should have done that because Animal Kingdom, we kind of got there a little bit later. Like the resort hours, like the early entry started at 7:30, and I was trying to get them up that morning, and they just were not waking up at all. They were like, "Let's just have breakfast here."
Mhm.
Yeah. So we did breakfast at Everything Pop, and then we went to Animal Kingdom and we got lunch at Yak and Yeti's, which was still really good. But I did have on my list that I wanted to try the Kusafari coconut coffee from Animal Kingdom. It's like in the Harambe market. I've never had it, but I had it on my list to try, and I didn't. And I do know that the cheeseburger pods from Pandora are very, very good, but we just didn't do that for lunch. We did Yak and Yeti for lunch instead. So I'm going to change next time. I want to do the Yak and Yeti breakfast and then Pandora for lunch with the cheeseburger pods.
That sounds
Those
really
cheeseburger
tasty.
pods are so good. And then we also got to try the churros from Nomad Lounge.
Maybe we can do that during wine and dine.
Exactly.
Yeah. Honestly, there's too much to do at Animal Kingdom. I want to fight all the people who say that it's just a half-day park because I could literally do one whole day
Mhm.
of Wilderness Explorers and I could just go and get there's like 30 badges. There's a
Wow.
lot. It you really have to work hard to finish Wilderness Explorers. So, I started it and I've never finished and I really want to, but it's you have to like look at all of the details in the park because they're like go to Dino Land and go find this or like on the Everest ride you have to like find the 44-inch tall Yeti foot and it's like right outside of the queue. That's like the measuring height stick
Mm.
apparently. So there's so many little details that you need to do and look at for Wilderness Explorers and I think that could be an entire day in itself.
I just got a
I
brilliant
concur.
idea. Okay, so hear
Okay.
me out. I think
Okay.
that Animal Kingdom is the ideal day drinking park as well. So
Oh, wait. No, expand on this.
there's so
Please
many
tell.
little nooks and holes in the wall and just like little places that you can go day drink as well as camp out at Nomad Lounge for 52 hours. Generally they don't like that so much, but there's so many little nooks and holes in the walls and good little places to get drinks from. Like it's just a vibe. You can just go see animals. Like
Like where?
there's
But like
okay,
where?
so
So there's
Nomad is like
Nomad's
the
Lounge.
cream of the crop. In Pandora, there's the Night Blossom drink. That's super good. It's a frozen drink with boba in it. Um,
Oh, I've had that.
Super tasty. You can go, there's different bars in Africa. You can get a spiked like Dole Whip. You can get I think I went to the Restaurantosaurus Lounge, which and got some drinks. You can get
Wait, is that even good?
I went to the
Restaurantosaurus?
lounge. So I was just there to drink. I was just there for the
Oh,
vibes and to day drink. Um
because I feel like Restaurantosaurus is always like a skip for me.
I cannot tell you the last time I actually consumed food there, just alcohol. And this sounds a lot worse, but I had a day to myself and I just day drank and it was awesome. There's Thirsty River Bar, which that's where a lot of people where they'll open it during the marathon early. And people braver than I will go get a drink at mile like 16 or 17 from Thirsty River by Everest. There's
Okay. Oh, that place is
yeah, the
good.
good
I've had that before.
when
I'm looking at the app right
I went to
now.
Moonlight Magic
And
in February with some friends, and we really, I mean, I'm not gonna say we drank around the whole park, but we definitely were like cruising and boozing. It was so fun. And I'm trying to think of another couple other places. There's the place where you can get frozen Coke or like frozen lemonade, like on your way
yes.
to
Yes.
Asia.
It's in Asia. It's got like
You
a
can get
bike
yes,
leaned up
you can
against the
get the
wall.
boozy.
Yes.
So okay,
That is where I get my frozen Coke.
so what
Yes.
I'm saying is that there's a lot
Mhm.
of like places to day drink in the animal kingdom. And especially if you're there on a little bit cooler of a day or there's a lot of shade. There's a lot of places to be.
Oh,
So,
Drinkwalla, that's what it's
yes.
called.
So, what I'm hearing is that we should do a Wilderness Explorers Jay while day drinking.
Literally, I'm so there. Yes. So I was kind of thinking, okay, and I have not announced this to the podcast, aka I have not told my mother this, but I did get the annual pass because Natalie is a bad influence on me. So
Fair.
Look,
so
I'm
I was
thinking about
kind
it,
of
so you're fine.
keep talking to Natalie and she'll
Okay,
she'll
so I do
convince
the
you.
numbers too. Just
Um
let me defend myself for a second. Is that you got to run the numbers and what makes sense with your travel plans? Because that's what I do. I don't actually run the numbers with tickets anymore because I know at this point it makes sense. But I was like going granularly down to the like, have I been able to use the discount on merchandise as well, and like running the numbers for my dates. So to my defend myself
yes.
for a second.
She's a
And
bean counter.
I spent 11 days in the parks. So, like, I don't want to say I've been 11 times because that sounds like I've been on 11 trips to Disney in this year. So, this was my third trip to Disney in this calendar year since purchasing the annual pass. And I've spent 11 days in the park. Some of those days were park hop days, some of them were just single park days where I did not hop. But yes, we did have a rental car, so I've gotten the free parking. That's $30 per day when you park a car. And I've also bought merchandise, so that's good. And you also get the annual pass discount for sit down table restaurants. So they didn't have that when you get the Fantasmic Dining Package, unfortunately. But when we went to Ohana's, I got 10% off there. So that was really good too. So, I mean, I think it's kind of worth it. And we're already planning on going back for Wine and Dine and Marathon Weekend. And then I'm going to be thinking about if I should renew this coming next Princess. But so I was kind of thinking when I was leaving Animal Kingdom this trip, because I didn't get to do everything, and I especially did not get to finish my Wilderness Explorers, I was like, maybe I should just fly down like on a random Saturday super early in the morning and then just go to Animal Kingdom and do Wilderness Explorers all day and then fly home same day.
This is peak Disney adults.
Incredible.
Planning to fly from another state for a single day to do a single activity at Disney.
But I mean, like, it would be worth it, though. I already have an annual pass.
I'm not judging you. I'm just saying. Like, we are proud.
Someone else did the math, and it's if you were to go to Disney every single day for the whole 365 days, it works out to be like $4 a day on the annual pass. But that would be if you literally went to Disney World every single day for an entire year. So, like, obviously I can't do that. I'm not a Florida resident, unfortunately. I'm going to keep trying to talk Austin into this, but so far that has not come true. But whatever, it's fine. So then I could get the $400 annual pass, the cheap
it's
one.
So much cheaper.
But then you can't go on the weekends and you're a teacher. With the
True,
old Pixie
and
it's
but
currently
still
Pixie.
and like all of the summer would probably be blocked out too, maybe.
But even if you get the more expensive one, because like even the most expensive in-state one is way less than the out-of-state one.
Oh yeah, because the tier right below the Incredipass Pass is like what, like $1,000 or something, which is still a lot of money.
It's the one you can get with DVC.
Better, right? Yeah, I have not talked Austin into getting a DVC either.
Baby steps.
That one, that's a really big. I don't know if I could do that. What is
that one
like
is easier
$40,000?
but it's easier to start talking yourself into if you buy off someone else's contract.
Yeah, resale.
Oh, yeah.
Not that I have it, but like this is the similar conversations I'm having.
I thought you didn't get it.
It's okay. We'll just call KG because KG has it. KG will connect us with her contact.
Exactly.
That's how we'll get this done. When we're all ready, that's how it'll happen. Let's finish up your trip though with like your top 10.
Oh, okay. But I was going to say with the DVC thing, Austin was saying that he would be interested in doing Fort Wilderness and he wants to go in the cabins.
Those are new. They're renovated. They're cute.
Yeah, they just got the brand new ones renovated and all that, but he even liked the pictures and videos that he saw of the old cabins and he was like, "Oh, I want to do this."
They have the old cabins for sale. Yeah.
What?
You can have like they sold like maybe
that is peak Disney adult right there. Okay. If you were purchasing a cabin from Disney World,
I have no recollection of how much they are, but like I think it was like equivalent to buying like, you know, if you were gonna buy like a mobile home or something.
Okay. Yeah, he said, "What's Fort Wilderness? Can we stay there?" And I was like, "That's the camping one." And he was like, he does love camping though. And he was like, "Yeah, I would do that. I would stay in the cabins." And so I looked into it and I was like, "Oh, you have to be a Disney Vacation Club member to stay in the cabins. Darn. Too bad we don't have a Disney Vacation Club." So
if you're listening, that's not true. But you could stay in them. It's just really hard to get in.
Well, you could do those third party websites where you rent somebody else's DVC points.
Yeah, but just because a unit is a DVC location doesn't mean like you don't have to be DVC to get a DVC location. There just has
Are
to
you
be
telling
availability.
me are you telling me as a travel agent that you could book me a Fort Wilderness cabin?
If there's availability on the dates that you want. Yeah.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
just that
Okay, we'll
DVC
have to
gets
talk.
first come first serve. So if they're already full, then they're already full.
Yeah, there's a law about how many you have to keep as like cash rooms as well. I think it's a Florida
Hmm.
law. So,
But that means that like the availability is very low
yes.
for those. So they tend to go fast. So you have to plan ahead.
Okay. Well, we will definitely talk.
Learning.
Austin wants to stay in the cabins, and I would be down if he wants to do a Disney thing. I'm there. So, like yes, let's do it. I'm like I need to get him into Magic Kingdom, and he wants to do Animal Kingdom because he hasn't done that in a long time. And I want to go back to Midway Mania at Hollywood Studios and compete against Austin. So he's probably gonna beat me, but whatever. Okay. But I have their top 10 favorite rides. And this also includes rides from Magic Kingdom because the last trip that we went on, they went to Magic Kingdom and we did like 22 rides or something ridiculous in that one day. So they still remember that.
Y'all are
Okay.
pros.
Oh, yeah. Our Magic Kingdom day that we did, we rope dropped and then we stayed until after. Literally, it was park closing. It was way after fireworks and we were leaving. So it was a very long day in Magic Kingdom, but which is why the 13-year-old is like very overwhelmed and overstimulated by Magic Kingdom. And she's like, I'm not doing that again. But the younger one, she was like definitely on board for another in your face, high energy, amped up adrenaline day where it was like go, 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 go to every single ride. Okay. So the 10-year-old, her top favorites. Number 1, Rock and Roller Coaster, because obviously she went upside down. Number 2, Everest. Everest was her second favorite because she thought she went upside down. Number 3 was Flight of Passage because we did that at Animal Kingdom. Number 4 was Tower of Terror. She said it was not scary enough, but she enjoyed watching her sister get scared. Number 5, she said a Slinky Dog. Number 6 was Guardians, which I was kind of surprised that Slinky Dog was above Guardians. But I don't know, because Austin was very unimpressed by Slinky Dog when I took him on it. So, number 7 is Soarin'. Number 8 was a Runaway Railway. I was very
Ooh.
surprised. I know. Yeah, like a little dark ride in there. Number 9 was Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and number 10 was Space Mountain.
Huh.
So it was a very interesting top 10. Okay. All right, so the 13-year-old had a very different top 10 just because she's not into the thrill factor. Number 1 was Guardians. Obviously, she loves Epcot. Number 2 is Ratatouille. Again, she obviously loves Epcot. Oh, I misremembered this. I thought her number 3 was Soarin', but her number 3 was actually Space Mountain, which is
I
surprising
love
because
Space Mountain.
she wanted to do Space Mountain so bad when we were in Magic Kingdom. We were literally about to walk out of the park, and she was like, I'm going to regret not going on Space Mountain if we don't do this today. And I was like, okay. So we waited over an hour for Space Mountain in the standby. And then we were literally like the next people to get onto the ride. And she turned and looked at me and she was like, I can't do it. I'm ticketing out. I can't. And I was like, I literally don't care. We just waited over an hour. Your butt is going on the ride. So she did it. And she put $20 in the swear jar afterward. So her number 4 was also Tower of Terror, surprisingly, because she said she was gonna pee her pants like the whole time. So I'm kind of surprised she put it up that high on her list. Number 5 was Dinosaur. She loved it and did it twice. Number 6 was Flight of Passage. Number 7, Big Thunder Mountain. That is surprising too, because I have a really good picture of her face after the ride where she was like kind of crying, kind of traumatized. Her face is like, I don't know why I just did that. And then number 8, Rise of the Resistance. She really liked that one. That was cool. And their dad is a very huge Star Wars fan. So he was really excited that we did that. Oh, and Kylo Ren is back in A mode. Very exciting news for Rise of the Resistance fans. Number 9, she said, was Smuggler's Run. And number 10 was Toy Story Midway Mania. She was going to be sad if we couldn't go on it. So she was really, really excited when we like ran and got on the ride. So that was really cool. Do you guys want to hear my top 10?
Love to.
Of course we do.
Oh, okay. They were really upset by my top 10 because they thought I threw in some like really weird curveballs, but I have a reasoning behind all of mine. So, and I thought really long and hard about it too while we were in the line for Everest. And then it broke down, so we couldn't go on it a second time, so that was really sad. But we waited over a half an hour to not go on the ride. But anyway, so my number 1, I'm going to go with Space Mountain just because it's a classic and the theming is really great. It stands the test of time and it's very, very efficient. I don't know. So I'm going to say Space is my number 1. 2, I'm going with Rise of Resistance because literally the first time that I rode that ride, my jaw dropped. Like, I was just so impressed. The queue is amazing. It is probably the best queue in all of Disney World. I love it. Number 3, I'm going to go with Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. It's just a smoother version of Space, and Everybody Wants to Rule the World just hits every
True.
single time. I've gotten Tears for Fears 3 out of the 4 times that I've been on it. So it's really good. Number 4, I put Everest as my quote unquote comfort ride because it's just a must do every time that I go to Animal Kingdom. The first time that I ever went on it was like our 2007 trip, and I was 12 years old, and I was screaming so hard on the ride that I literally lost my voice and I could not speak for the rest of the trip. But now it's just like every single time that I go to Animal Kingdom, I have to go on Everest. So I love it. All right. My number 5, they thought was a total curveball and they hated it, but I put Small World. So, because apparently it was like the first ride that I ever went on at Disney World as a small child, like when I was 2. And it was also the first ride that I ever went on at Disneyland.
Aw.
So I know, right? So I had to put it on there. And I think that my kid, when I take my kid eventually to Disney World someday, I want their first ride to be Small World
Aw.
too. So just for that like nostalgia. I know.
Traditions.
But who knows? That 4 days in Disney World as a single parent nannying was enough birth control for me. I'm good. I don't need to have kids anytime soon. But anyway, okay, number 6, I put Tower of Terror. Just because the random sequence still makes it really fun. And then number 7, I put Soarin' because that Fuji smell, so good on the ride. So good. Number 8, I put Living with the Land just because
Love.
I am a stan of Living with the Land, okay? And it's definitely like if Walt was still alive, he wanted that. That was like his vision, not really his true vision for Epcot, but like that still is like the philosophy of the park is like there's no IP on that attraction and you're still like it's educational. You're learning about something. So that we need to bring that back for Epcot. I don't know. Okay, my number 9 I put was the Great Movie Ride. R.I.P. I'm still not like a fan of Runaway Railway just because they took away my beloved Great Movie Ride. And they did Pluto dirty on that ride. Like, how dare Minnie throw Pluto in the trunk? They mistreated Pluto, and I told Pluto that we're gonna call PETA for him.
Oh,
Justice for Pluto on Runaway Railway.
that'll be our
Okay.
hashtag for this episode, Justice for Pluto.
Hashtag justice for Pluto. He deserves it. Yeah. And so for my number 10, this is a total wild card, but I put Summit Plummet from Blizzard Beach just because that was where I worked during my college program. And I have a really good picture of me standing at the top of that water slide. So just because I worked the attraction, I figured I might as well put it on my list somewhere. So
You could.
All right. Well, I think that is a show. From all of us, thanks for tuning in. Good luck with registration. I hope that you get or have already gotten everything you want for Princess Half Marathon weekend. Until our next adventure, we're wishing you endless smiles of magic and memories. See you next time.